come to Ray and Mike's and try our Philly chicken and cheese for just over $4. Giant cheesesteak subs and mouth-watering boar's head sandwiches for as low as $4.75. Q-Cash accepted just a mile down the road on Whitney, here at Ray and Mike's.
Welcome to A Sheer Sensation, North Haven's premier cosmetology service, located at 140 Washington Avenue, minutes from Hamden. We offer an array of services, from basic cuts and colors to lash extensions and formaldehyde-free keratin treatments. We also provide hair chalk and styling for men. When you spend $60, your Q card will get you 10% off. Call us at 203-239-6477 to make your next appointment at A Sheer Sensation.
Men's soccer has begun its conference play with a 1-1 record. On Wednesday, the Bobcats host the Jaspers of Manhattan College, who have yet to win a conference game. Is there any reason that they will lose to Manhattan?
Any reason for them to lose to Manhattan? I don't know. I mean, it's the MAC. From top to bottom, and anything could happen on any given day. I mean, you saw last weekend the men's soccer team scored 3 goals in the second half, and then they beat Marist. So that was a ridiculous result. The week prior, they lost in overtime to Niagara, a team that they probably should have beaten. So do I think that this game really means anything when it's said and done? Probably not. They need to win. It'd certainly be a bad loss, but will it affect the outcome whether they make the playoffs or not? I'm not really sure. Well, I think all the teams make the playoffs. It won't really matter seeding-wise.
So I don't see any reason why this Quinnipiac team should lose to Manhattan.
I
Like
agree.
you said, you can lose any game. It just depends. But Manhattan they're 0-2 in the MAC. They have 1 win on the year. It's an exhibition game. So really, they're not playing up to par. And if you look at it, this should be more of a confidence-building game for this Quinnipiac team. They've never lost to Manhattan since joining the MAC in 2013. They're 2-0-1. That's Quinnipiac against Manhattan. Plus, this game's at home for Quinnipiac. I just don't see this as a losable game. And it can't be a losable game for the Bobcats if they want to put the playoff position.
Yeah, Manhattan hasn't really done much this year. They struggle to score. They struggle on defense. They haven't won a game this year. MJ, really, Eric DaCosta's squad, they need to come through in this game.
Okay, so moving on. Freshman Eamon Whalen has led the Bobcats with 5 goals and 10 points. How much credit does Eamon Whalen deserve for the team's success?
Andrew, I'll take this one first. I think you can give Whalen a fair amount of credit for this team's success.
Sure.
He leads the team in 3 different categories: goals, points, shots on goals, and game-winning goals. 3 game-winning goals he has on the year. When you lead the team in game-winning goals, whether it's 2, 3, 5, 10, whatever it is, you're probably a pretty important player on that team. You're doing something right. This Eamon Whalen gets to the front of the net. He's putting balls in the net. I was going to say pucks in the net. We're not talking hockey. We're talking soccer. Putting balls in the net. The freshman's just doing it all right now.
And DaCosta said it earlier in the year. It was interesting. He admitted that he didn't expect finishing from Whalen. He expected it more from Rashawn Daly and James Doig. He's not the type of player that's going to rip through a defense and, pop one upper 90 on a goalie. But he is a tactically gifted player inside and around the 18-yard box, and that is what he has done excellently this year.
It's interesting you bring up Rashawn Daly because he leads the team in shots, but it is Whalen who leads the team in shots on goal.
What do you think Whalen has for the next 3 years? Do you think he's going to bring to this team?
Oh, pure gold, I think. He leads the team in minutes, not leads the team. He's playing a majority of the minutes, especially for a freshman. So if he continues that up for 4 years, path to success.
He could potentially be that goal scorer that they've lacked since Marshall Baker, my sophomore year 2 years ago. Marshall Baker was an instrumental part of this team, picked up the load, was the lone goal scorer, the lone big goal scoring threat on that team, and who knows, Whalen could be that in the next 3 years.
And I think, too, it's fair to mention another freshman, Chris Yakovidis, in net. You can give him a fair amount of credit. He's got 3 shutouts, 8.825 save percentage. But Quinnipiac is 8th in the MAC in goals against average with 1.38. 8th in saves, but that's only MAC, and we've only seen 2 MAC games from this team. So looking at the season as a whole, Jakubitis has been very good.
And guys, just one more point too. If I were teams around the MAC, I wouldn't put so much emphasis on Whalen. I would put the emphasis on offense. If you're trying to stop Quinnipiac's offense, put it on Daly and Doig, because those are the guys that really create all the opportunities for Whalen to finish.
Okay, so moving on to women's soccer. Their team is 2-2 in the MAC and has recently defeated Fairfield and Marist within the past week. Here is Dave Clark post-game this weekend.
It breaks that run. I mean, I was worried about the start because, the first 3 teams we haven't beaten in the MAC. So I know that, and I haven't told that to the team. And we didn't beat all 3 last year either. So, you look at the situation is, can we now pick up points? So we're 2 points better off in these 3 games than we were last year.
Dave Clark talked about it, but MJ, what do you believe is the biggest difference for the team since last season?
See, I have my own big overarching thing, I guess you could say, with this team, and it's all about the underclassmen. I talked to Dave Clark earlier in the year. There's 20 freshmen and sophomores on this team, and you only have about 27 or 28 roster spots. That is a very significant number. Talk about sophomores, just a couple names. Jess Cascio, Nadia Gill, Jess Gargan, Devin Malcolm, the goalkeeper now. And then you got the seniors, Fontaine, Pandolfi, Caruso. It's like a little bit of a mentoring thing. You got 3 of these bigger name seniors mentoring the sophomores. And what I talked about with Dave Clark, at the beginning of the year was last year, these sophomores who were at the time freshmen, they had to play a lot. They played in pressure situations. But now, with this team being sophomores in the new incoming freshman class, which, by the way, itself is great, it's taking some pressure off the freshman class, that this sophomore class, who did it last year, has the experience, and they can be the ones in the situation. The new freshmen, they can sit on the bench and watch. They don't have to be in high-pressure situations.
For such a young team, they're so dominant at home. I think they're 5-0 or 5-1, 5-0-1. Oh no, 5-0 at home. They're 5-0-1 when they score 2 or more goals. And when they're averaging more than 2 goals a game, they're also very successful this year. So when you combine the youth and experience, I guess, with the dominance at home, that is a really dangerous mixture. Really, all they have to figure out is on the defensive side and how to play away from Hamden.
That's right.
All right, so if the season ended today, Quinnipiac would make the playoffs. Unfortunately for them, it does not. In a press conference over the weekend, Clark said the team controls their own destiny, which he hopes will put them in the playoffs. Andrew, do you see them finishing there?
Well, first off, controlling your own destiny is such a weird term in sports. When I think of controlling your own destiny, I'm thinking of, there's 2 games left in a season, you got to win out.
Yeah.
That's controlling your own destiny.
They have a long season.
Exactly. When you're controlling your own destiny, when there's 4 or 5, 6 conference games left in the year, it's tough to really say you control your own destiny. You got to win as many games as you have to in order to make the playoffs. That's really what it needs to come down to. Ultimately, I don't think they make the playoffs.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Women's soccer does not make the playoffs.
They don't make the playoffs, MJ. It is jam-packed 4-9 throughout the MAC. Canisius is the 4th team, and the
MJ.
6 teams.
What do you think?
I absolutely see this team playing the playoffs. Andrew, let me finish real quick, and then I'm going to...
Yeah, can I tell you why?
Yes, go right ahead.
Okay. So 4 through 9 there's only 2 games separate the 9th spot from the 4th spot, right? Iona is the 9th seed. Canisius is the 4th seed. Quinnipiac still has to play 4 teams that are in the playoffs as of now, in a playoff spot right now. Monmouth away, Canisius home, Siena away, and Manhattan home.
Okay.
They have to play Monmouth and Siena, who are the 2 and 3 seeds respectively, away. Quinnipiac has been terrible away this year.
Specifically, they've been 1-4-1.
Terrible.
Not good.
Not good. And you still have to play the teams at home.
Okay. Can I go now?
All right, MJ, what do you think?
Quinnipiac is at 5th in the MAC. Tell me if I'm wrong, that is not a playoff spot. Right
No,
now,
that is.
If the season were to end right now, it's a playoff spot.
That's a playoff spot.
Okay, so there's 3 teams in the MAC that haven't lost. So I'm going to concede that they are going to make the turn. Top 3.
Okay.
But there's 2 teams that haven't won. 0-3. I would find it very hard to believe for those teams to make it. So take the league now from 11 teams to 9. Quinnipiac needs to find a way to get in the top 6 of 9 teams. So they have a 66% chance of making the playoffs. And you're going to take the other 33%.
Combined with the youth and inexperience, playing down the stretch, you got away games down the stretch. I don't know. It's tough.
You can take the 33, I'll take the 36 and run, but I think you're wrong.
Okay. Your opinion, I respect
Yeah,
that.
that's fair. Okay.
Okay, so after the break, our hockey analyst Sierra Goodwill will discuss the start of the season for both men's and women's teams, and MJ and Andrew discuss the Bobcat Breakdown game of the week.
Welcome to A Sheer Sensation, North Haven's premier cosmetology service, located at 140 Washington Avenue, minutes from Hamden. We offer an array of services from basic cuts and colors to lash extensions and formaldehyde-free keratin treatments. We also provide hair chalk and styling for men. When you spend $60, your Q card will get you 10% off. Call us at 203-239-6477 to make your next appointment at A Sheer Sensation.
I could really go for a Ray and Mike sub right now.
Come to Ray and Mike's and try our Philly chicken and cheese for just over $4. Giant cheesesteak subs and mouth-watering boar's head sandwiches for as low as $4.75. Q Cash accepted just a mile down the road on Whitney, here at Ray and Mike's.
Welcome to A Sheer Sensation, North Haven's premier cosmetology service, located at 140 Washington Avenue, minutes from Hamden. We offer an array of services from basic cuts and colors to lash extensions and formaldehyde-free keratin treatments. We also provide hair chalk and styling for men. When you spend $60, your Q card will get you 10% off. Call us at 203-239-6477 to make your next appointment at A Sheer Sensation.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. Coming up, Q30 Sports Hockey Beat reporter Sierra Goodwill discussing the ECAC champions taking on the Hockey East Tournament champions this weekend. For all info, follow at Q30 Sports on Twitter. But first, let's jump right into volleyball. The volleyball team is off to their greatest start in program history and is second in the conference with a record of 6-1. The team had their 7-game win streak ended by Niagara on Sunday afternoon. Should we be concerned with the volleyball team and their loss to Niagara, who is now 5-12?
Concerned? I guess. No, I don't think so. Concerned in terms of playoffs? No. They're 6-1. The top team is 7-0, which is Fairfield. Quinnipiac has a pretty good gap between them and the last playoff spot. I'm not concerned at all. They do have a tough stretch coming up against Fairfield and Marist, but absolutely not.
So let's put it this way. I guess you could say there's a little bit of a magic about the beginning of this season. What are your thoughts on that, Andrew?
No magic.
No magic.
It's been a great year. It's been a fantastic year for them, unprecedented.
Yeah.
But when I think of the term magic, MJ, we were talking about before the show, I think of Red Sox, ALCS, coming back from the Yankees. When the term magic is used in sports, I like to think of coming back when the odds were against you, and
The odds were against this Quinnipiac
yes,
team.
but going into the season, no one had any thought of what they were going to do.
Except not winning the conference again. Two wins last year.
Yeah, but MJ, no. Magic implies that the team came back to make the playoffs. They went on a magical run in the postseason and won.
So the season's not over yet, so you can't say there wasn't
I'm not
magic.
saying it wasn't. I'm not saying that they haven't overseeded expectations or whatnot. I just don't like the term magic. I don't like that term.
Even with their season last year, they were 3-28. What do you think? Like, you don't think they have any magic within this year now?
I think sorry for interrupting you, Emma. I think there is a lot of magic here. Chris Saplinski came into this season sporting a 12-108 record in his 4 years. Well, this will be his 5th at Quinnipiac. That's a .100 win percentage. Team has 14 wins this season. That's more than the first 4 years of his career here at Quinnipiac combined. I'd say that's some magic.
I don't know. Magic is such a tricky term for me.
Okay.
I don't
you're out of your
know.
mind.
We're not seeing eye
right,
to eye on that one.
Clearly.
Now we will head to the Piazza, where Sierra Goodwill will update us on everything you need to know about Quinnipiac hockey.
Tis the season, Quinnipiac ice hockey is finally back. I'm here with men's and women's ice hockey beat reporter Sierra Goodwill. How are you?
I'm doing great.
We'll start with the women's. How are they recovering from the loss of the senior class?
Well, it's early, so the first years of the game, I think you'd always expect to feel a little bit of a loss from such an impactful senior class that they left behind last year. I think they're really feeling it most on the defensive end because 3 of the seniors out of the 6 that they lost were a brick wall on defense in Kristen Tamberg, Lindsay West, and Sid Rusler. Those were really the core of the defense last year, but they do have some freshman talent trying to step up, fill that void. For example, Katie Tabin from Winnipeg, she played in the Canadian Winter Games. She also can bring a little bit of offense to her game. But another key thing for this team, I think, will be that Sydney Rusler is on the staff. So for her defensive IQ is so high. So even though she can't be that mentor on the ice, she can be it off the ice for these players. And obviously they still have the lead scorer in TT Cianfrano, 52 points last year, and Melissa Samoskevich. That's guaranteed offensive production. And Emma Woods said there's no time to ease in these freshmen. They just kind of have to jump right into it. So I think, yes, right now they feel the loss of the seniors, but I think come conference play, they'll find their stride right away.
They got 2 games on the road this season. What do you expect to see out of them?
Well, Friday they travel to UConn first. UConn has only played Union so far, obviously an ECAC opponent. They swept them, but that's not really telling much as Union went 0-19 in the ECAC last year. So I think that Quinnipiac will be able to go and kind of take care of UConn pretty handily. Sid Rossman, I think, will find her stride in that after a shaky first game. UConn finished 4th in the Hockey East last season, so I think they'll be able to take care of them. When it comes to New Hampshire, the next day, Cass Turner, I was talking to her earlier today, she said her team takes a lot of pride in recovery. So this week, really just catching up on sleep, making sure the players have their homework finished, will really play a big role in their first road trip. I think they come out of this weekend 2-0.
Okay, and we'll talk about the men's ice hockey team. We know they're good.
We do.
What do you expect to see out of the freshmen coming in this year?
Well, I think 2 key losses to note are obviously Sam Annis and Travis St. Dennis. Annis with 124 career points, St. Dennis with 112. So in the exhibition game, you saw all the freshmen kind of get their feet wet. But it's kind of like, who's going to be that star? Who's going to fill that void for this Quinnipiac men's ice hockey team? You have Logan Mick, Alex Whalen, Nick Germain of the freshmen who can kind of step up and fill those voids on defense. Rand Pecknold was saying how he was really impressed with the play of Brian Rafferty, so I don't think this team is lacking in freshman talent at all.
They have a big weekend coming up. Against Northeastern. What do you expect? What do you predict to see?
Obviously, Northeastern's an impressive team. Won the Hockey East tournament last year with teams like Boston College, Providence, BU in their league. That's obviously an impressive feat. But I think that the Quinnipiac will struggle a little bit because they have a huge loss in not having the Hobie Baker nominee in net for them. Michael Gartig's gone, so Rand Pecknold has to find that solid guy between the pipes. And then I think they'll be able to find gel and find their culture that this team is going to represent this year. I think they might come out with a split this weekend against Northeastern.
Thank you, Sierra, and back to you guys at the desk.
Now, everyone's favorite time, Game of the Week. Us 3 have chosen the volleyball team, who will face Fairfield on Saturday, October 8th. Fairfield is ranked number 1 in the conference with a record of 7-0. What do you guys think of this matchup?
Andrew, I'll let you go first.
Yeah, they're going to get destroyed. Plain and simple. Fairfield is a team of the caliber that Quinnipiac hasn't seen all season. Yeah. Quinnipiac has had an unbelievable year, as we were talking about the Magic segment, whatever that whole thing was.
Momentarily suspended.
Momentarily. Okay, you heard it from MJ.
Yeah, you did.
I think there's no magic there, but whatever. The matchup between the best 2 teams in the MAC, the best two offensive attacks in the MAC. I'm tripping over my words here. But Fairfield is a different monster than Quinnipiac has seen all season.
That's right. Quinnipiac all-time versus Fairfield, 0-7. Quinnipiac's only won 2 sets in 4 years against Fairfield. That's not going to change, in my opinion, this week.
All right, so unfortunately, we don't have all the time in the world to talk about this. So be sure to check out all of our content on Q30television.com and theQBSN.com. Also follow our social media at Q30 Sports and at QBSN. For MJ Baird and Andrew Badillo and the entire production crew, I am Emma Carmen, and we will see you next week on Bobcat Breakdown.